Hello, this is Dr. Do again. This video is outside of medicine. Continue with important historical figures. I have talked about Bang Liu, who really established the Han Dynasty. Today I continue with Liu's family. There's some other emperors in the Han Dynasty. Really, after the initiation of the country, the establishment, there are a lot of political shaking because the two of his commanders used to fight along him passed away, died, and also there is some shaking structure. Many other the forces fight in between, and a lot of political reforms. So that's I'm going to start with his wife first, Liu. Like I said earlier, Bang grown up or raised in a very poor family, but he married at late ages and at that time, and Liu's family is a local famous and noble family, and his wife is very wise and very capable. And during those years when Bang, I think more than 10 years, probably about 20 years or so, he led the army to fight around the country, and his wife actually stayed at home taking care of I think 4 or 5 sons. She gave him those kind of children, big family, so she even worked in the field. Imagine there's a high class of lady, because of those war or because her husband was fighting, leading, so she even worked in the field. And later on, she was kept at refuge or in the enemy's camp. So she has been experiencing very difficulty in her life also before Bang Liu became an emperor. So after Bang established the country, somehow there are a lot of concubines, and her probably, and even though he became emperor, she still helped him to stabilize the country, to stabilize the power. Two of them, probably at least one of the commanders of fighting with Bang was killed by her. And the other probably is her, but did not say it. So anyway, so she helped him to stabilize the political power also. But later on, there's a conflict between both of them. So that's why eventually it's kind of tragedy. When there's a saying like the height of the tower or the building is coolness. So when they were working in the field, the common family is a happy family, but until the end of stage he became emperor, the family was kind of no sense, no air. It's warm or as family, just everywhere is cold. But anyway, so this Xiu Liu is the name of his wife. Was kind of in the history was kind of notorious. I think that's not quite fair for her. She had been endured a lot, and just because she took over the power from him, and she was blamed for the whole history. But she's kind of later on in her life becomes very brutal. So if a woman becomes brutal or vicious, could be very, very worse. So in her life, her time of rule the country, yet the country was kind of developed and very secured, political-wise, but still people feel harshness. There's no good comment about her. So anyway, this is even there's some, in order to secure the power, she did a lot of unhuman punishment to the people she doesn't like. So anyway, so this is about his wife, very capable, independent, and political, because she was very well educated from the family. So this is about his wife, Xiu Liu. And about there are some other descendant from Liu, probably after a couple of generations. There's a prosperous time of the Han Dynasty. There are a couple, 3 of emperors, I think, called Wen Di, I think Wen Jing and Jing Di, Wen Di and Wu Di, the emperor, three of emperors, I think, from Guan's father to son. These three generations brought the Han Dynasty to the peak time of prosperity. So if you, so it's called the special time, special policy, secured the country, secured the dynasty. But there's still a big issue about the surrounding small tribes from minority people always fight, always fought each other. So until Wu Di, Wu Di is the one who really did the final conquer around the country and start to stabilize, to get peace. They were brought to the worship to the Han Dynasty. That's probably part of the history, and later on still continues to have those kind of conflict between the surrounding small countries with the Han Dynasty. So this is about the Liu's family, Bang Liu, who's the very famous people. I think it's very unique about him. After that, Han Dynasty going from the beginning to stabilize and go to the peak time, and then started going down, and then there are a lot of political abuse, the power to took over the emperors as a levied to rule the country, very brutal, like a Wang. There's one important person like a Wang. After that, the Han Dynasty almost like broke. So that's why the West Han to the end, and then start to from the East Han, which is established by Xiu Liu. If you watch my other stream for Beijing Opera, there are a lot of plays about this Xiu Liu. This person is also another person I'm going to talk about in important figure is Xiu Liu, is a descendant from Bang Liu. He was the descendant, but he was somehow away from the capital in the east of the country, near Henan province of Luoyang, and because the country was almost broken at that time, a lot of rebellions, and a small group near his city started to rebel. He and his brother joined it, just as a common people joined it, fought along to rise up. But there's still internal conflicts. They suspect because they have descendant, they have the capacity, they have the army, so they suspect that the power will be sieged or held in their hands. So he lost his brother, but he is a very deep person and endured the whole process, buried the sadness, continued the fight until he eventually met a person who is very capable. This figure may or may not real, but it's how he went. Also, he married another family. I think it's Guo's family. Because of this, Guo's family is very powerful, holding the army, holding the money. So because of that, he eventually rose up to take the throne, so establish the capital at east of China, which is Luoyang, currently Luoyang so that's named as the East Han Dynasty. So this person, the unique part about him is he is very deep, not showing emotion. Nobody, I think if you read the book about him, he's almost emotionless, very calm, very cool. Regardless of what happened, the outside you cannot tell what he's thinking. So this is about that person, Xiu Liu. If you search the emperor of the East Han Dynasty, Xiu Liu. This is, of course, if he's not that cool, cool. Probably sometimes at the beginning he's not cruel, but after he sees the power become emperor, he became another cruel emperor. Also killed some commanders used to fight with him. The Yao I mentioned fought with him, give up all the families, give up everything, just fought with him alone, and undefeatable. After he gained the throne, eventually he killed that commander also. So this is just the reality, you know, from common people or from low status until high, the change. It's not because of individual one, just that the environment, the political nature, human nature together force him has to do what he has to do. So this is about another important people, Xiu Liu, and along with some history of Han Dynasty. I'm going to stop here, and I will continue next time. Thank you for watching.